Hello, welcome by Ken Lowana Nara Stret Tok segment of VBTC. First time you want to welcome you we stop joining this live broadcast lo television lo Vanuatu. You will tune in lo radio Vanuatu mo you will stop follow Facebook live VBTC page lo social media. Now this Stret Tok by imtu kam lo story and otok pot one lo get a progressive walkabout lo side lo especially side lo trade reform where is inside lo country where stop ko het now ya. I think the last Stret Tok no more episodes we to been cut, especially the beginning of this year, because today to been tackling some will get a major important institution, especially or sectors will play one big flower role lo running the economy lo country. And this one to been cut with them Bureau of Statistics Office, we into got chief statistician we establo statistics office Mr. Carlo Andicap, we make a story about to get a approach or site labor force survey where statistics have been start taking. Now today by him to fortunate look at first hand information lo one people walk about to lo site lo trade where Bureau lo price monitoring more consumer affairs with the more stakeholders play more stop a work lo emplo achieving one trade reform, especially inside the country. Now guest play me to whereby him to fortunate or lucky to mas look at him inside the studio today. Him to cut with him give him some look at the insights lo work about the trade reform yeah where obvious play more stakeholders will stop work lo time na. Please join me blo welcome him CEO blo or Chief Executive Officer blo price monitoring or consumer affairs Mrs. Lissie Taura, we start with him to inside the studio today. Welcome to Mrs. Taura lo studio today.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas Jamie.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, I think you been story and you got some work where price monitoring officer Mr. work with the stakeholders to side to one trade reform. We understand say Bureau, the price monitoring more external trade, more other key stakeholders stop undergoing one consultation with them. Introducing one trade reform under one proposed trade protection bill, but also trade remedy legislations. You say, tell them why is it important? Why now the time na why now you must make them trade reform?
Yes, thank you, Jamie, the opportunity, and all good fellow viewers, play me more public where you missed up lesson on. Thing lo one you make at the moment, you make at one decision where hemi stop and hemi require him blow. You may cut one reform where hemi stop. You may look full up issues the side blow price blow kakai hemi ko end up simply from you may make him you make at full up import they come inside lo country lo side blow all kakai. You may survey look to say you got unemployment where hemi stop and of course inflation where you may stop face them now yeah. Apart from the fact that you may vulnerable all natural disasters and council decision where hemi pain come out, hemi require them blow you may amend them legislation blow you may law price monitoring and consumer affairs. So this is where we're at the moment. One name where government hemi want them blow you may make them hemi blow look say you make at one environment, one trading environment where hemi conducive. One trading environment where hemi fairer, hemi fair, more hemi resilient, in such a way where you may survey, you may not create more barriers. You may survey, look say all investors abroad, or survey come in, blow, make them business inside the country. But at the same time, you may want them look say it got fair competition and Mr. Happen lo market play you may lo Vanuatu. You may want them say all local industries play you may survey protect them all keta. Now hemi some lol keta pick fella thing where government hemi want them achieving, but hemi come down all technical people. You may need play you may collaborate. So one name where you may stop look lehem hemi blow you make at one competition and consumer protection legislation. Hemi just one look at the instruments where you may need block at inside law framework where you may stop want them. You may want them cut to one amendment blow price monitoring and consumer affairs act. You may want them cut. You may want them look say you make at one anti-dumping regulation or one law where hemi survey come hemi protect them all local industry play you may want them look to say you make at one fair trade policy hemi stop in place and full up all ting yeah hemi take him you make go back law one framework where hemi customer centric Yumi want them say all consumers play yumi lo Vanuatu, and of course all global consumers only benefit out lehem. So yumi got all broader objectives. Looks you got fair competition. You nurture them or protect them local industry. You looks you say foster one resilient economy. You lo Vanuatu. At the same time, you got some look at anticipated more by you tell them say all specific objectives where you want them achieving inside the trade remedies requirements where WTO now also say the overarching world organization where deal with them all countries with respect to trade where hemi need him blow country play you hemi must live up to, or you must make sure so framework play you only talk also all requirements where you meet yet you may been adopt them or you may assent law 2012. So basically, hemi blow make sure so you make out one framework where hemi survey incubate them or hemi survey help them yumi lo economy, all businesses, all consumers, all trading partners, blow yumi survey collaborate, but ika transparency inside lo kita work ya, and at the same time you may look how economy hemi survey grow, but you may need them all frameworks ya blow only step in place.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. I think as you stop mentioning, you got one trade protection bill, more also remedies, trade remedy legislations. Probably the knowledge, the audience, more public. You saw a program down more one straight now all proposed laws here. Also, I'm sort of trade protection bill, more trade remedy legislations, more all get whether only make them semak work, whether only make them semak work, or work differently. Or suppose only work differently, how now complement them each other, blow achieve you mentioned one fair trade environment inside the country.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. Emi one very important question. Now, lo side blow all trade blow yumi, but you talk about how you may trade with them all in Narafala country. All goods will only come in, you may import them, come in. Usually you may use some Customs Act or Import Duties Act. You may look where place now, you may sit down that you may talk about importing of goods. Unfortunately, I think you may look country, you may not cut all trade defense mechanisms in place. And that is why you may want them to you may cut all anti-dumping legislation. So anti-dumping merely one counteract fasten blow you may impose them all measures or tariff all goods where one country overseas hemi produce them one lower cost and hemi come in but you may stop compete with them all local goods where you may stop want them produce them, and this is where a lot of pricing strategies for all traders hemi occur. So only use them opportunity, yeah, only put on pricing, all get that, but time you make at all goods only dumped inside the country, hemi make it difficult, only survey realize them one margin where only start one the cut all goods, all get that. Now time you talk about all countervailing measures, you may also me tell them finish, or maybe all trade defense measures, yeah, where one government hemi could you make at. So all countervailing measures, hemi also all one other country, for example Australia, hemi send them in all eggs, all egg, because you may cut lack hemi inside the country, hemi come inside, but you may tell them say one country, one government blow that for a country where you may import them, hemi subsidize them all industries them. So time hemi put them subsidy call all goods, yeah, hemi make them cheaper, time mokatali produce them, and then only put them come inside the country blow you me some look at the measures that it got all criteria where all governments only work with them, but all something where you may need to be careful no more. And you may talk about all safeguard measures, assembly blow, you may ensure say one name where you may stop produce them in country, or one name where another country you stop produce them, it come inside the country, you may safeguard them all industries play me, but it got full up all criteria, all rules where all country only all, so for example, you may love Vanuatu, but you may must cut in place. But you may not have a cut in place, suppose you may not cut one law hemi pass from or you make one regulation. Also mitalem you make customs law hemi stop, you make import duties act hemi stop, but all trade defense measures here you need block at and all requirements under law WTO. So emi could play you make emi help them to country play you help them government play me time only stop negotiating all trade agreements, play only save one name where you may not cut in place so that communication hemi save kolo not a country where you may want them cut all partner agreements with them all kita lo fasten lo you may trade them all goods play you me, but also you may save you may stop all industry or local manufacturers play you me. So you may not got full up yet. Me look se pa you may got shortly back again value addition expo or pa you may tell them say one lol kita events here where pa you may got back again lo country. Plo help them, plo all local farmers play you me or local artists play you me or list of come up with them. One them now list of produce them. I think hemi now hemi most important. From time you me talk about all trade remedies, but you me not cut all goods play you me trade them. Then hemi pose one other risk play you me. In terms of, but you me go back play you me depend on imported goods. But hemi could blow you me everyone you me work collaboratively and lo center play every something ya now hemi all consumers. Hemi demand side ya now where you me stop facing challenge with them all time. In not just that, but time all consumers only got all complaints all keta or only films say all traders only stop compete lo one way where or only trade lo one fasten where or prices hemi too high or quality plokakai hemi no up to mark. Ino kat place plo only voice all concerns plo all ketalehem. But me believe so with them the trade legislation, trade protection bill where you may want them achieve him or all naravel regulate trade remedies where you may want them achieve him. Once you make that hemi in place, hemi should help to provoke him some lo all keta legislation or instruments where you may really need look at in place plo. You may stop talk about promoting local artifacts or you may promote them all value add products play you may save protect them you may silver. Yes.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. I think one of the thing now lo said lo we mentioned but lo said lo introduce achieve trade protection legislation here. I think you will protect them all markets yes. Inside the country. Suppose you have no one some get a specific trade challenges or market failures where by all trade legislation I can all remedies law ya probably can address them once active.
Yes. Think some will get the challenges where hemi stop once all trade remedies become active. Hemi one name where you may stop look finish by you make at by you stop talk in anticipation. So time all trade remedies by only implemented. You may service say at the moment it at Australia or New Zealand no more where all geta only register them with them WTO inside the region say all geta only got all anti-dumping laws and safeguard and countervailing measures where all geta only stop implement them. Now Yumi lo region as we speak in no cut full up country yet only cut all geta regulations here where me stop in place. And you may have a look say yes, but you may protect them industry play you me, but at the same time also me tell them also no more say country play me Vanuatu hemi unique. Also one word I'll use some language say judicious. Every work where you may make them to do with them trade for you may involve them all governments, all trading partners play me and me mostly or the governments where only give him you me certain rights for trade and time all technical people blame you, only start negotiating more trade contracts, only always cautious lo one him now naravala government hemi kat lo table blame you me agree lehem. So yes hemi kat all challenges blehem. Think one will get us something when we look where pampa hemi save happen hemi one temporary or by you tell him say one short term hike low prices definitely by hemi one look at us something where you may look from say you may still rely on imports big one and time will remedy selikam by you may look say by all trade, by you start lo putum some measures, you start lo putum some fees, lo all goods where you stop come inside lo country, and therefore by you look say all imported goods where you come, by you putum some tariff lem, additional tariff, just to discourage them, blow you import them from say you want the grow them local economy blow me or producers blow you more value add, so by you look one temporary hike low all prices, but me believe saying the other challenge no more hemi you must be cautious. For me one sensitive matter that you may talk about all trade agreements, you must be always cautious. So one him now bamba hemi savekat or some implications all governments play you me. But hemi could play you me continue to collaborate, work together from you mean one small administration, but you mean one small country, you may depend heavily on all imported goods, so emi necessary. Everyone you must work together, you must have achieve him. Otherwise, but you make out the legislations here, hemi come sit down and stop, but you may look say you may no put them into good use. All legislations only come only good, but you may put them into good use, hemi scalable, hemi meet them needs play you me, hemi practical, then by you must have a look all benefits play him definitely.
Thank you, Thomas, Ms. Taura. I think one will mean all people we trade legislation only come. I think by me got more impact too. All get our consumers, where you've been mentioning. I mean the industry and small will impact all get our side all consumers more businesses. How now by legislation only have affect them all consumers who some you mo me we go stop payment something all shops all products. By legislation by me have a legal higher price probably me expect them some all products.
Yes. Thank you, Jamie. Hemi one very good question from time me talk about all consumers. Really want them say by you me take them outlaw discussion play you me hemi one consumer hemi must be well informed. So full up all work where you me make him hemi require him blow you me be transparent. All investors time only come in blow make them business, emi semak something. Only want them service one kind legal framework, regulatory framework, one country hemikat. Me no want them go make them business lo one place where me no aware lo all laws plahem. From by the time hemi survey money play me finish no more airport. Hemi no even start one business yet. So transparency hemi important, and by me talk about transparency lo sense you me need to inform him. Inform all consumers no more. Now that one consumer hemi well informed, hemi save make all decisions plahem. Hemi save make all decisions plahem based lo budget plahem. Hemi save make decision plahem based lo health. Hemi save make decision plahem based lo comparative advantage. So it got a lot of things where consumers hemi save make decision lehem, and all get a trade remedies hemi come blo hemi talem all sem. You me cut all laws where hemi stop. You may need block at one good framework where hemi stop. Yes, competition hemi must be promoted. You may have control and price, but hemi more better than all businesses only have compete fairly. And hemi important all businesses we only want all potential investors we only want them come in Vanuatu only service you make at one competition law. And therefore time you make at one competition law, definitely it speaks fair trade. You make out one competition law, all consumers only protected, it got fair trade. All fasten, all same, you must cut all cartel, all fasten blow price couching, fasten blow collusion, predatory pricing, you name it, only prohibitive. By you meet say, you may need blow build him one framework where he must have take him on board all keta investors only come inside the country. Only fully aware finish or laws hemi stop in place, only trade fairly. Place where only make a margin lehem, only make a margin lehem. But places where only not supposed to call lehem, only aware lehem in advance. Now time hemi come down all consumers, it got full of regulators where you make at low country play you me. You make at all regulator telecommunications, broadcasting, radio communication, you make at regulatable all utilities where you look at them electricity and water. You make at all NARVLA regulators, you make at the regulatable all bank, hemi stop. And every regulator say look at all consumer division all keta. Now one name where you may stop one them look say tai yumi cattle trade remedies hemi step in place, and suppose one consumer hemi hurt lo one price lo one imported good. Hemi mi got place hemi go voice him concern blehem lehem. Now at the moment as we speak, all consumers only got complaint. Only put to me call Facebook. Nara something se time only got one complaint, time only call look one regulator. Regulator pahemi talem lol keta se mimi save act number within jurisdiction blow license where you me issue him ikolo provider. Or mi save act number within jurisdiction blow concession agreement where mimi bound lehem to. And therefore one only make them only send them consumer ikolo court. Now, every consumer but least have afford them court. But hemi could look say suppose only fields say all rights all keta hemi no well addressed or maybe only no well informed only cat place only call him and this is it hemi very important blow time you may stop address them economy blue you must think about say all consumers blue you only help them you too blue you refine them some look at the procedures maybe only obsolete only help them government blue tell them say yes a mena road you should call him so also through all sounding mechanism or you make all consumer council or all consumer platforms hemi step in place hemi help them you me double you me shape them how you me should go and important something hemi all governments around the world and including you me lo Vanuatu only need him support blow all mechanisms where only practical. Suppose one government him is the one that make one decision. Him need all technical people him only talem lehem straight. You make at him in place. You make at one cap place so that him is have make him all decision blehem. You mean no stop lo talem say podia or reform ya but him answer him every needs blame or you solve him every problem blame but him one ends lo one could follow walk about where you may believe say suppose every something you may pass them and all consultations only go well all validation workshops where you may want them cut hemi go well and also you may got one recent discussion with them one lol kita donor partners me fast and socialize them thing hemi go and hemi well received then by you may survey looks some lol changes hemi survey stop happen but very important you must be on top of it you must monitor them that you must progress all reforms from say also you tell them you got all challenges him to him stop.
Thank you, Thomas, Ms. Taura. I think you've been mentioning about why I provide one space for people who have reasonable complaints because suppose only feel say one price product and you hit them probably purchasing power because site. I think you got some concerns no we raise about thing you've been stop look say you got one unit where we stop price controlling or price monitoring unit but full of people stop questioning why name no act lo side time we got all complaints with I think you have explained the minimum you got one certain area where unit is have kasen.
Yes. Thank you Thomas Jamie. I got full up complaints Mr. come out tingle consumers only complain Thomas say you make out one price monitoring and consumer affairs bureau one office say stop be hemi attend to all queries play you me also multiple regulators time where you got one question or one complaint by you need blow come to office or you send them one email you me save attend them but hemi just from say you missed a discussion but me need to mention them also from everyone you got one complaint everyone is bound to have a complaint or not happy about something so hemi could blow time you got one complaint please hesitate blow you come look me flalo office you send them one email thing one lol keta important reasons why you mean save tackle them a lot of customer complaints hemi from you make a gap inside the legislation play you me and that is why all council of ministers decision where hemi come out hemi want them say you may need blow you may amend them legislation play you me so that you make out all provisions weapon by you may save use blow you may save developable procedures play you may save attend all consumer complaints and consumers too by all get only save say yes hemi one all complaints play me fella ikat legal way play you may save legal basis play you may save harem one hemi ki one answer le you me one response le you me At the moment, all complaints were me fly cat, all regulators were only cat finish all customer complaints division. Legislation hemi provide for that Bambai mi fly refer all the complaints all respective regulators. Yumi where Yumi cat all complaints about pricing all goods, mi fly welcome you fly come inside the office. Now the way legislation Yumi hemi drafted at the moment, hemi allow him mi fly save control investigative approach first time. You may find him out why complaint you hemi such. Me vlei talk with them trader. Me vlei karem information you. One him now hemi exact complaint you. Then you may survey address them. So answer them question you. Yes, suppose you got one complaint. Please hesitate you come look me fla office. You send them one email me fla or you call a Facebook page me fla you survey deposit them complaint you me fla survey attend lehem.
Thank you, Thomas, Mr. Rallo. I think people really some approach will make them side all complaints we come. Kopak or legislation we miss talk about the side to trade. I think it's always summarize him no one him now get specific benefits people consumers really carry out laws here once we go effective.
Yes, thank you. Once all get laws here, you must look mainly law competition and consumer protection legislation. At the moment, you may stop consult law one discussion paper where you may be prepare and finish. You may carry support some experts only help them. You may undertake one gap analysis and only look all nara countries the region too. How all get only approach topic here competition and consumer protection. All get laws here time by only pass only allow him one consumer hemi survey bring him forward all complaints him and legislation to hemi allow him you make investigative and remedial measures inside him. You may want them the consumer hemi must be first of all aware of right him. Secondly, one consumer hemi survey lodge him complaint him and hemi cut opportunity redress. Now at the moment, you may look around, it got some misleading advertisement where he stop go out. Sometimes you may put them say free shopping, but he not necessarily free. He some all get elements of fast and pricing or misleading advertisement where all legal legislation but he work with them all get the traders also. So you may prohibit them fasten, you may prohibit them all different kind fasten where two business by tuvla eating plus tuvla fixing one price and consumer hemi no ka choice lo mataya but hemi need lo pay one good lo one higher price here. So legislation lo competition and consumer protection yeah pambai hemi help consumer lo hemi save address one way by you sing out them say price couching or price fixing. You make one opportunity one council hemi save be formed. You may look at other countries, you make all council really at arm's length. And one will council only cut them mainly facilitate them all provision legislation mama law competition and consumer legislation. Yeah. So you make all rights all consumers only come in only put them in all complaints get council hemi really take them out all investigation, hemi find them out, hemi carry information, then hemi save put them come forward body where you may want them say hemi deal with them, how you may penalize them or get the traders going forward. So hemi one could follow something you make the legislation say in place, you make competition and consumer legislation, you make all anti-dumping legislation, you make trade remedies and at the same time amendment law, price monitoring and consumer affairs law. Bamba hemi help them consumer pick one, hemi help safeguard them to local industry you me and hemi promote them one resilient economy you me also me talem hemi no answer them every hemi no one answer every issues where you make all challenges where you make but suppose you be monitor them good reform yeah pambai you may look say you may serve more benefits than all challenges where you need to stop identify them now yeah.
Thank you, Thomas, Mrs. Taura. I think lo case plus side lo case side abuse lo side lo trade remedies ya. Whether you got any safeguards or measures in place plus have preventable abuse lo trade remedies we must talk about ya we have spoil more small local businesses.
Yes, thank you. I think topic hemi sensitive that you may talk about abuse all trade remedies from say all trade remedies usually hemi involve all government. And also yumi stop yumi one country where some yumi vulnerable all natural disasters. But by full up time yumi start receiving state aid. So yumi receiving aid lo all nara countries blo yumi only come in blo help em yumi full up time by emi savekat abuse lo side blo all competitors only save put them all pricing all time blo natural disasters but also one lol get something where competition by emi really pull them out hemi the fact that all goods where only stop come in all safety all goods where only stop come in where all nara government or you may receive him in all same all trade but you must have a question all quality all kakaya but I think lo specific question blue you that you may talk about abuse all trade remedies but me take them no all same say you may stop deal with them all governments and usually hemi very but me no say me very difficult but you may need to think twice time you may stop try and blow stop him one good way hemi stop come lo one nara trading partner blue me also one nara government at the same time but you may tell them to say all countervailing measures where you may stop one them promote them impose the measures all goods where may come in lo all narfla country all safeguards by isave happen to lo yumi time yumi stop export them all goods blue yumi eco overseas now suppose you stop export them all goods blue yumi go overseas by time where you may register them or legislation with them WTO all nara countries only aware him say you may cut by only thinking too about how only have imposed them all measures yeah all goods where you may stop export them abroad but me believe say at the end of the day suppose all technical people blue yumi only survey at all times advise them government blue yumi lo all fast and blue trade blue yumi so that you may not disturb them all bilaterals where you make at all multilaterals where you make at lo side lo local all domestic economy blue yumi or market blue yumi me look say abuse blue all trade remedies yeah but me too much one issue from you may still start growing sector yeah you may enhance value add work where you may stop making and therefore maybe in the long run but you may got some more unique challenges to area yeah but as we speak it could play you may promote them a local sector manufacturing sector you may so that you may start get into real trading with other countries or through all bilateral or multilaterals where you may cut. Thank you, Jamie.
Straight, thank you too much, Lema. You've been mentioning got some existing trade laws regional agreements we've been established in place finish. Also PACER Plus more MSG trade agreement.
Yes.
Probably how now by government have insurance all laws we are trying to talk about it. The trade more legislation me align with them Vanuatu's commitment all agreement trade agreement more also I got fair understanding between all laws all entities we start.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. It made me one very good question. Inside the implementational matrix where you make at, blow reform where you may stop talk about, Pamba you may cut all sessions, one session blow one validation workshop, where all points of contention blow me, but you may need the full map everyone lo one basket, and you may carry them in views blow all different stakeholders. You may cut government, you may cut business community, you may cut all consumer community play you may cut all Department of External Trade where me actively stop negotiating all trade agreements play every stakeholder step by you may make sure say everyone hemi involved inside law reform where you may stop talk about. In fact, you may everyone you may stop inside law SEMAC task force where you may start work law reform. Yeah. So last thing we want hemi blow you may finalize them framework play you me with them all inconsistencies. And may you may not want them. You may want them at time where you may write them all laws play you me. You may come blow agree all regulations and you may current blessing blow Council of Ministers blow guide them all drafters blow you me blow time all drafting instructions come out before equal state law office blow write them all bill blow you me every gaps here you may been journey through them finish. Every gap say you may address them finish. You may not want them make them. You may not want them push on one law or one regulation where he may no one collective walkabout. Me vlei stop look finish. Pampai you may got some challenges. That you may talk about all regulators working together and you may come under law SEMAC umbrella. But he may one difficult walkabout. But he may simply need him blow you may collaborate. You may got one Council of Ministers where he may make him one final ruling him. Lo how you may want them look one commission. He may thrive. And you make it all collaborative work together. So you may need to avoid them. You may need to avoid them. You may got any gaps or legislations. You may. So therefore, also JB, me want them tell them lo you and everybody will stop listen in. Molly join him. You me inside lo story anya. Say all frameworks you me. All you must talk, all laws play me must be harmonized. I mean, me talk about all reforms blow trade. From at the end of the day, by all consumers play me, all same people ya no where you may stop involved all buying and you may receiving goods and services all providers. So hemi important. So you may write them all laws. Hemi must be practical. Hemi must certain context play me. More all issues with time where you may all issues only come about you may survey how you may deal with them. No need blow you may write them all laws just blow benefit blow all get agreements where you may draft them blow hemi benefit them other people where you may write them say hemi blow you may if it's ours you may need blow write them blow hemi suit them all people blow you me context blow you me perhaps affordability blow all people blow you me and something laborers whether we have that or we do not you may need to provoke them all the areas here now where you may lacking them. So I think you may try and blow write them all laws where you may consistent you may not create them inefficiencies from you to survey finish it got cost for inefficiencies. So one collective walk about there where you may stop want to make them and just blow benefit blow story and blow you may do no more all the stakeholders where you may start work with them now yeah where you may start work together law reform yeah you may got Ministry of Foreign Affairs where Department of External Trade may come under them. You may work with the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, where competition and consumer may fall squarely inside law jurisdiction, and Ministry of Finance and Economic Management, where Bureau where me represent them, may start work inside them, facilitate them some mandates where me step inside law ministries. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. Also, you start mentioning about collective work about where team stop work actually achieving more consultation or laws. Probably the side all business, so all local business. How now government or stop work ensure we got enough consultation or local business or farmers or industry groups all draft bill.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Pamitalem also say you may stop the consultation phase and you may been cut one consultation finish lo manis to June the Ministry of Infrastructure Public Utilities Conference Room and you may been ask them about the businesses lo only attend them consultation lo work where you may stop make them you may invite them to Chamber of Commerce lo may survey attend them that for a consultation. From one where you need to stop story about them now, yeah, me believe say me couple serve them to part of consultation, yeah. Pro inform them about the traders, more get the small business, all MSMEs especially. Pro tell them say by you make you may start one reform at the moment, and you may not implement them yet, but you may need them input lo everybody. Also, you may subtalem say you may need the one broad buy-in lo everybody, and therefore lo last month is too. We've been start lo Santo lo third economic symposium, and we've been got opportunity lo hole one consultation too. With them some look at the businesses play me we only operate Los Santo due to all issues plus flights more ship and resources semi tight little bit. Me fly want them come out, me fly story and with them use so that suppose me fly no reach him every business play me throughout lo Vanuatu. At least suppose only stop lesson lo you me to now ya only feel say only cut some ting or only no maybe only no clear to mass the some look at the information where you just stop story and lem now yeah please only feel free only come story and with them you me come look you me lo office plo you me save story and with them all get more for you me stop get lo consultation phase and thing by you make at validation workshop lo you me lo around the 13th and 14th of August so by you me still go out plo you me invite them all traders and all consumer champions or all different consumer bodies probably come in plo you me serve historian more consult with them all get from Emmy also you me want them write the one law where me you me serve kat inclusivity yeah, inside also meet finish without feedback blow all get the traders by law where you may draft them by me no service seven good needs all get from at the end of the day all get now only operate all business inside lo country play you me so therefore also say me one call to same time where me you me do historian me want them say time you stop send them out all emails or you me stop making all phone calls siko lo all get me go to lo all get market vendors play you me all local markets play you me suppose you've like stop carrying all invitation me no save go out every organization but suppose you must up all community consultations also and me could only come blow you must have historian to get from voice blow get up I must have help shape him all legislation or instruments where you may want them prepare them for nation play you me Vanuatu.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. You got all major trade partners too. You got with them also Australia, New Zealand. How now by all trade law legislations remedies by me impact them on major trade partners. Please me mention them. Whether will there be possibilities to got trade disputes once?
Yes, thank you, Jamie. I think by me want them talem no also me kat all trade experts please me stop me no one trade expert please me lo you me kat all trade experts please me lo foreign affairs and also me been mention and finish government yes me want the one fair competitive market you me want them say all consumers play you me lo Vanuatu only benefit out all get a kind reform also but work about there by you me depend full up law all technical people play you me lo external trade lo only survey give him all insights give him feedback from last thing you me want them maybe you me disturb them all get the trade agreements where me stop you me no want them get into disputes but you me want them agree or agree or disagree or something in the name of promoting a fair and competitive economy you me lo Vanuatu so by time all get a consultation and me come out all discussion documents all final papers before you go Council of Ministers by you make out one independent review all validation points and independent review yeah you me want them engage all experts play you me inside the trade by only survey undertake one review where me survey help you me talem say area ya you got potential dispute by me survey kirable him you me need to address them in such a way but me need them you me on ground you me help them all technical experts by you me no leko all technical experts only come run them all get a work play you me need them you me on ground all technical people play you me we only work for government all policy makers only serve work with them all experts yeah you me serve refine them how you me you deal with them all trade matters from also mitalem hemi no one is something hemi want something where you miss have disturb friendship lo you with them all countries where all kita tu all part lo all kita bilaterals and all multilateral donor agencies where you miss rely all kita lo full up all needs play you. Yes.
Thank you, Thomas. Mrs. Taura, as you mentioned about consultation, Mr. Stop yet, and suppose probably in the last part of the story, and you got any assurance no more probably team is awake about local business, more achieve one fair trade competition environment, more protection to low purchasing power for consumers. Any assurance to side?
Yes. Also, all nara countries, all get all Iran finish with them. All competition and consumer protection law. Australia, New Zealand now to ikat all get the trade remedies, yeah, where only stop implement them finish and you miss have a look data where unique tad hemi put them out. You miss have say all get only cut some data finish all offenders inside law all countries all get and you may want them thinking also say all get the businesses where only stop operate inside law country, whichever business where all get only stop operate them. But by competition, hemi come to help them every individual business. Pamitalem also from competition, hemi prohibit them some fasten. Where now you may stop local businesses or stop get into. Pamba you may find them lo sam lo kata peri-urban areas, you may lo Port Villa, lo Efate. Say sometime by you may got one local business, he may stop operate, you may sex say one big full of business, he may come he may set up right next to him. And full of time, thing you may not got place well business ya, only save ko complain lehem. Me stop harem lo sam lo all kita colleagues lo me lo VIPA and lo Chamber of Commerce only talk about fasten lo out competing the local business. So sometimes you meet local business, one local hemi want to set them up one business, but you may look so one other big business you can lo side plan, hemi make more prices plan, hemi too low. Hemi too low and business but you find them say hemi no must have operate. Yes. But competition low hemi come hemi talem say kind fasten blow you predate low pricing but hemi no must happen. Yes. So hemi one good for something. But all big for businesses me think say possibly look positive side for legislation. Hemi help you blow you save realize profit margin play you by you save play low one market where you are protected by you to tell them also from sometime every business only trade low semak product. Okay, every business only trade low semak product and sometimes we got some businesses where only trade low semak product and competition low he can blotalem you say you to fla in a save collude you to fla in a save agree plus set them all prices play you to fla all same or you to fla dominate the market lo one good where you to fla is the one the salem so that he disturb them one nara producer plus semak good plus he salem semak good. So emi all some look at the behaviors where only stop use them, all businesses only use them, plus only have a market advantage inside the one economy. Emi no one easy work. Time we talk about investigation, blow one fasten blow collusion, or you may stop talk about investigation, blow one fasten blow predatory pricing, or all cartel where only stop from. You need to prove them. You need to prove them. That is why you make out all legislations where you stop. You make out all industry benchmarks. You make out all market procedures. How you may identify all kind of behavior where stop happen inside the country. You must prove them. You need to look at one complaint to come. you must cut fasten procedure, please have a lot one complaint, please also one business, hemi must be clearly outlined, and law blue you hemi must sound them, so that you must have a rightable procedures hemi follow them, so that one business hemi stop get up, hemi mi service hemi carry some protection. Suppose all people for business while stop try and blow, put him out of business. Suppose hemi make at one point, hemi bring him come forward. But all legislation, hemi allow him, play you must write them or establish him all get procedures, all businesses only have use some, lodge him all complaint, all get so that the commission or office or some respective authority, hemi save look go inside them and hemi deal with them, and by you must say you must investigate them, and you must have come some maybe non-binding discussions, or you may have a pursue matter further. So yes, me believe say suppose you make all frameworks play you may check them off all areas where you need to look inside them, enhance them or improve them. Some look at the gaps where you may stop deal with them now, some all inefficiencies. But by me believe say all businesses by always have a benefit them from first of all hemi transparent, you got information, you know the do's and the don'ts, so you know try and involve all kind of behavior also, all agreements where you make out also. Got certain businesses, all you want them say, only got all trademarks. All you want them say, lipem trademark blow one certain brand, for example. And hemi one inside the legislation whereby you Mr. Go towards them. Suppose you want them pay one brand, and you not allow him one other business hemi Salem Semak brand, by me find him these days say by Department of Customs and me destroy him good you lo border from no more say you no got right play your Salem brand now inside law competition legislation is to come up hemi one fasten where you may disallow him. You may prohibit them, but no, but you mean to talk lo detail blehem from lawyer hemi no come in yet, but hemi some lol get something where suppose you want the Salem brand you got all procedures you may follow them, and me save say got law to blow Vanuatu intellectual property rights they got all trademark act where hemi stop you may got some trade agreements where me sit down with them Umilo government, me believe say got trips where me stop. So it got full up agreements, it got all laws where me stop in place. But suppose competition legislation me come in and all traders only feel say all get only want them Salem brand but it got one restriction lehem. Hemi, you use some lawyer, you make all submissions, you come in, make a inquiry, you come in, also se bitalema, you may save look say, no, you know save go inside the area, but yes, hemi one space where you may need to look him, and this is where you may start to refine them. Or legislations, you make sure so you may accommodate them, all different kind businesses or all different kind approaches where you may want to take them, or suppose you want them you want them compete one different kind one product where you may restricted. Suppose you got way you may deal with them. This is how all competitors, all traders, all is put them in all queries they come in you may have a deal with them, but until then you may not cut yet legislation and reform you may want to make sure say beneficial all traders too where all stop compete inside law country you may.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. Thank you too much for insightful information beside the trade legislation where team is talk.
Yes.
I think one good news too, side traders where small businesses will stop. Incoming trade legislations we stop probably I think lastly no one expected timeline now finalize mo enact trade protection remedies mo pilia what stages now with team stop now side consultations way forward.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. You may stop you make at one target deadline November this year. Target deadline hemi require yumi karem all kita work where yumi stop mekem blo yumi kat one council blessing lehem before ikolo parliament blo yumi lo November, and we believe said Deputy Prime Minister or Minister responsible blo yumi lo finance Honorable Johnny Kwanapo hemi been table and finish all kita legislations weapon by yumi lokim hemi passed on November, and all 5 legislations or trade remedies hemi stop finish lo trajectory blo yumi save look say only passed, and yumi want them take him say suppose every stakeholders you must work collaboratively by you must have look say most all get the legislations but you must have pass them in November. Having said that, also me tell them finish time where you me want them say one law hemi come hemi benefit them you me no want them duplicate them all get the responsibilities for you me katol nara regulators finish stop suppose say by you Mr. want them amend them some legislations for all existing regulators by hemi require them some study, and we've like been meeting with them some look at the regulators or give him some look at the concerns at the end of the day hemi decision block government one name where you Mr. work towards them hemi blow you me make sure say you me everyone you me work collaboratively but you me no cost them government time. Suppose government hemi want them say Vanuatu hemi must got one competition and consumer protection legislation hemi must got one anti-dumping law hemi must got all the trade remedies here in place from for too long since 2013. You make at some look at the law say hemi stop was in trade protection bill but hemi no pass, and now yeah you may start year 2025. So suppose you may need to work together, you may not think about small administration, but you mean no more, you may do lulu pick for a picture, and you may think things say yes, you may want them say reform yam by me come, by me benefit him, you may everyone. Then you may everyone you need to work together, you may need to look at one overarching commission, weapon by him survey current together every regulators, you may work inside, not necessarily tell them say me one overnight work, but suppose you missed up look manis to November and you need look at some feasibility studies hemi taken place by you me time by you me work towards them, then hemi important blow you me everyone you me participate inside law or consultation where you must work hem now you're from November hemi just around the corner. But work where you may stop make them, you may stop want them go through one reform, hemi no one small work. You may need them voice blow everybody, and government hemi spend them big full of money, blow hemi set them up all institutions there. Last something you may want them, hemi blow, you may dismantle them some institution just for the sake of the reform. But no, you may look so one him na country hemi need him. And hemi stop lo mimo I think task force where you may start work him and blow you may tell them also so you may come lo you may finalize them all contention points blow hemi go through lo validation workshop. All get the legislations where hemi survey pass, you may survey pass them, you may pass them, you may need to provide them all good information and advisory go back to Honorable Minister through law office for DG. All get the legislation where you may subject law some changes or some feasibility studies and you may need more time, you may deal with them or work with them. You may need to carry me back to the table, you may discuss them, story around them and work with him. So to answer them question you may get one target November 2025, but hemi dependent now lo efforts you may work together, you may look say yes investigative body hemia, then you may need such and such a structure, yes bodiana by hemi issue more penalties, bodiana by hemi look out them all issues for consumer, or no you may not need one fully fledged administration, you may have to make come inside the structure. So a lot of this proactive discussion needs to take place. Then no more you may service a time you may cut the laws you may sit down code, you may service hemi cost effective, hemi practical, hemi suitum context you may hemi resilient, hemi provide them safeguards blo industry blo yumi and hemi transparent all consumers only aware government hemi save where we are me believes the government hemi save a lenient too with them yumi suppose yumi feel say yumi need more time blo yumi run him some feasibility studies. It's up to making sure that everyone's in the boat so the time you miss the bride them or laws or you miss scope them out who by step where inside the structure blo reform then you miss have write them all get the instruments or legislative got one legislative framework where hemi save effective mo hemi save meet them all needs play yumi. Thank you.
Thank you too much, Mrs. Taura. All good information we give him out, especially the side a big flow work about we office we look out to Mr. Go with the stakeholders, blame the side achieving one trade reform inside the country. Me sure say you got some business owners too, or traders will stop for them this discussion and only very interested lo work about we trade stock or them you will stop work about them and emena URM emi some will get the information insights lo side people work about we price monitoring mo consumer affairs with the more stakeholders blame some external trade or start work about them lo side achieving one trade reform especially trade protection bill more trade remedy legislations where ultimately probably achieving one more fair trading practices, more also competition inside the country. Thank you to much for this Stret Tok discussion. Kasem next time you pass them on good day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.